Hi everyone, today I'm going to compare Axios and Fetch API and demonstrate the difference in React projects. Here are provided 6 points about the difference between Axios and Fetch. I'll demonstrate each in the code. So, point 1 is that Axios is a third-party library. Fetch is a built-in JavaScript function. You must install Axios separately, while Fetch is ready for use in a modern JavaScript environment. Let's go to the code. I launched my Visual Studio Code and have a folder where I store my React projects, and I'm going to select currency converter and open source files, and I have app.jsx file, and here I added component. You can check my video about building current converter, and I'm going to open my component, and as you can see, I used here Fetch, and now I'm going to add Axios to my project, and I need to install the package, and I opened it in npm in my browser, and as you can see, Axios has almost 53 million weekly downloads, and I'm going to add it to my project. Just copy this npm install and launch new terminal. Okay, and now I can paste my code and install dependency. And as you can see, package.json file was updated, and I have Axios as a dependency. And now I'm going to return to my currency converter, and let's start dev server with npm run dev. And I can open my project in browser, and as you can see, we have amount, from currency, and to currency. And I can change amount, and let me open developer tools, and we have network requests, and I can change currency, and every time I change something like amount from to, the request is sent to the server. And okay, let me change to USD and return $10, and I can hide this panel. And as you can see, we sent request with Fetch, and now I'm going to change it to Axios, and I can comment out this line and add new const response, and it will be equals to Axios, and I need to import Axios, import Axios from my installed package Axios, and as you can see, Fetch is available without any import. And I can use Axios and provide get method and provide my endpoint, and I can make console log response. And, let's refresh, and I'm going to return to my project, and I got error. Module does not provide an export named Axios, and let's change to just Axios. And I'm going to refresh. And okay, we have wrong request. Try again with other programs, and that's because we have error handling, and response was not okay. And actually, we can check response, and we have promise as response because I need to add await, and let's check again. And in response, we have data, and inside data we have amount and other data. And we got error because we don't have response okay. And I can comment out this code, and let's check again, and we have we got another error, and I'm going to refresh it. And we have response JSON is not a function because we don't need to make to convert to JSON, and we have JSON by default in our response data. As you can see, it's point 2 data transformation. Fetch only provides the response body, and Axios automatically transforms the JSON data. And let's correct our data. I can comment out this fetch data and use my data from response. And let's check again. I'm going to refresh the page, and we have working application with Axios instead fetch. But I'm going to show you one more thing, and I'm going to provide here error, and as you can see, we have service is unavailable, and that's because let's check network. I'm going to refresh it and add error again, and let's check what we have. In response, we have status code 404, and we can check it here. And so in fetch, we added this if not response okay. We also can check status code, but during fetch, it was okay, and fetch didn't catch error, while when we migrated to Axios, it shows us error, and we can provide console error and provide actual error message, and also we can set error message to our set error function. And let's check again, and we have request failed with status code 404, and you can check this message and add some more meaningful message here. And let me refresh again and change it to valid value and invalid value, and we have Axios error in console, and you can check message. And it was actually 0.3 error handling. Fetch doesn't not treat HTTP errors like 404 as actual errors, and Axios automatically throws error for HTTP response with status codes outside the 200-299 range. And next point is 4 request response interceptors. Fetch doesn't not have built-in request response interceptors, and Axios provides them. Let's check it in the code. I can add interceptors to my Axios code using Axios interceptors, and add them to request, and add use function, and provide config, and I can return some code. I can return config, set some values to config, and but here I'm going to add console log and add interceptors or cold. I'm going to save it and open my application and refresh it. And as you can see, before each request, the code called them and provide me the message. I'm going to change to 10, and also our interceptors were called and change again. So, and basically we can run some code before each request and change some settings or do other things. So, and in Fetch, you need to implement it manually. Now I'll demonstrate sixth point because for fifth I need to change application. So, and the point 6 is handling query parameters. Access can pass query parameters as an object, and let's check it in the code. I can remove these interceptors. It was just example, and let me show you query parameters. As you can see in Fetch, we just added parameters string after question mark, and I'm going to just probably comment this string. Okay, I can actually I need to make this, and in actions we can add object, like it will be object and params, and provide all these params as object, and actions will build params string, and so I can provide from currency and to currency. Okay, and also as you saw, Axios works with params string as well, but let's check our object. I'm going to refresh it, clean, and provide 10, and let's check network as the last request, and as you can see, Axios changed it to our object to params, and I'm going to clean it and change value, and also the object was transformed to query string. And the last point that I want to show is a request timeout. Fetch doesn't not have built-in support for timeouts, and Axios provides a timeout feature out of the box. I return to my Visual Studio Code, and now I'm going to open Lyric Search project and go to source files and JSX, and we have Lyric Search component, and as you can see, we used here get, and here I can convert from get to fetch response, await fetch, and I can add some comments and point, and paste it here, and point and point, and also fetch response, and here I can make console log response, and here provide fetch response, and now I can comment the code, and I need to open it in terminal and run dev server npm run dev, and open my project in browser, and I can provide some artist name. Let it be Beatles, and phone name will be yesterday, and press search. Okay, we have our lyrics, and it was Axios code, and now I'm going to save my page code and search again, and as you can see, endpoint is not defined. Okay, it was my error, and let's check again. I'm going to press search, and response is not defined. Okay, and actually in fetch response, let's check what I have. inside console, and in fetch response we don't have data, we have only body, and we need to convert fetch response to some JSON or text, and I'm going to use JSON data and make await fetch response and JSON, and I can make console log JSON data and provide my data, and let me move this here. While in Access we just retrieved data from response, and it was converted to JSON automatically. And let's check what I have. I'm going to press search, and we have our JSON data, and inside JSON data we have lyrics, and I can remove response data and paste lyrics and search again, and eventually we have our text from the response. And you can check the whole video about lyrics search, about building lyrics search application, and if you got confused how the application is working. And so we converted our Axios to fetch, but now I can make some wrong request, and let's check network. As you can see, request was sent, but we haven't received any response so far, and it took some time, and we're waiting now. So, and let me comment on this code and return to my Axios and show you timeouts, and here I'll change to response data lyrics again, and we're still waiting, and I'm going to refresh and provide details. Yes, today. Okay, we got our text, and let me add yesterday one, and we're waiting, and now I'm going to add timeout to my request, and let's do it inside Axios get. I'm going to provide timeout and set this as 3 seconds, 3000 milliseconds. It's 3 seconds, and let me send request again. Okay, we sent request, and we have our timeout, and we do not wait a long time before some error, and search, as you can see, it works much faster than 3 seconds, and we got some previous network error from previous request, and let me change again and use timeout, and we got timeout after 3 seconds. And that's all that I had for today. If you like the video, subscribe to my DevStartup channel, like the video. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.